Hey, what's up, guys? It is MetaGamesGX here, and we are going to be doing an updated Post ROTA Branded list. We are going to be doing our 60 card, really standard grass list that we've been on, an updated version, because of course we're going to be running the everybody's new favorite $150 card, mulcharmy fuwoloss in the TCG. And we're also going to be doing a deck profile on the Azamina Branded deck profile that I've been cooking up also for the people who want to try out the new Azamina stuff. It's definitely interesting. I do think that this is the more viable build, but you know, overall it's definitely a fun build. So if you guys want to see that, make sure to stay subscribed. So with that being said, make sure to leave a like down below if you guys want to see the combo guide for this deck. I've been winning with this constantly in Rota testing and took this into a actually post Rota tournament that we were just having on Discord. I won it, so it was pretty nice that this thing actually worked out. So I just wanted to show off the theory also. This is going to be something probably close that I take to a Niagara, but obviously Niagara is still a week away, so the theory might change a little bit. But we do have 3 Shroud Dragon, obviously, 3 Aluber. We do run one a Stellar. I think a Stellar is actually really good right now because you need to be able to play through things like Dominus Impulse, and a Stellar also allows you to at least get to a Cartesia, allows you to play under fuwoloss as well, because you could go a Stellar Effect, summon Cartesia, like at least past or going to Quem, you know, at least it's not a bad card under fuwoloss. And then also just like you are running the grass is greener, so you do want to have more mills. There weren't really other cards to take up the slot. I want all my cards to really have huge bang for your buck because we have to fit mulcharmy fuwoloss, which is something you don't typically run hand traps in Branded, but I'm going to explain the theory on why we are and why we should be once we get to it. We are running the 3 Cartesia. We need to see our consistency, our extension. You want to see Cartesia in every hand, so that's why you're running 3. And then 3 Fallen of Albaz. This is mandatory in a build like this. And then we have 2 Guiding Quem the Virtuous. This is very standard at this point, where you run 2 because you want to play it over Nibiru. You always go through the 1 usually on your first combo, so like you need the 2nd for the crackback or a grind game. Or playing through Nibiru like I mentioned too, so it's great to be able to summon off a Grand Guignol as well. Having the 2nd one is very good on your opponent's turn. Also, if you get hand trapped is very important. It's always treated as a Despia and Dogmatica card, so it's one of your best play lines. Using Cartesia and Quem just like basically gets you to Branded Fusion no matter what on top of Shrouded Dragon. So I think running 2 is very good on top of the 3 Cartesia. Might be a little bit too many normal summons. I don't think so personally, but I think consistency is key in a build like this. So you are running 1 Mercury or 1 Tragedy, which is something that's kind of new in my builds. Traditionally, I typically advocate for running 2 and 1, especially when you're running a lure, but you know, this format's a little different. We're running mulcharmy fuwoloss, and we need to fit it without having too many bricks. This card is a brick going first, for better or for worse, so you need to cut down on your already bricks. So we're cutting down on one of the bricks. We just have to make the concession: 1 Mercurier, 1 Tragedy. We're just going to search out the Mercurier off a loss, but if we have to manage to extend it, we'll do that. Tragedy is really nice off of the grass looks greener, but it's also just a great send off a burial and then a gold sark, so it's just there. 1 Spriggan's Kit because you need it for the brand high spirits lines, because you can search off high spirits. It's how you insulate your lines through Ash Blossom. I can show that off, and my post ROTA combo guide that we are going to be having coming out this week. Make sure that this video gets to 200 likes and you guys will see it. And then 3 Bestial Saronir. We are running a Bestial engine because we are running the new Protostar Dragon Void. This card is great. We want to be loading up on Dark Dragons. I do think the Bestials are really good into the new format. Having like 2 Bestials in hand usually does cook a lot of the boards right now going second, but obviously we are on the pure fusion variant, so we don't want to like overkill it. And I feel like I said, with the whole principle of running fuwoloss, we don't want to have too many bricks, so we are running the 3 Saronir, which is an amazing card. We want to run it at 3. It's a combo piece. You always want to see it basically, because with like Ravine or High Spirits or Deployment opening, it's basically full combo, just like with most cards in your deck. And then also you run the 1 Bestial Lubellion to do the combos with Branded Loss. It's a very important card to have. I think we were running 3 last format, but I think running 1 right now is just fine. In a build like this, you kind of have to make room for it. And then 1 Bestial Luber. I think this card is incredible. It's a mill off of Grass Looks Greener. Yes, it's kind of a brick, but it's a dark dragon that you can search off of Bestial Lubellion. You can also search it off of Branded and High Spirits. You can search off of Branded Lost, and you can also send it off of Quem, which is very cool. Also, it counts as fallen Albaz in the graveyard, so that's the best part. So you mill it, and then you mill Shiren, and it's really important to be able to send it off a Saronir when you mill with grass, because you're always going to hit a Saronir when you go grass looks greener. That's when you're running 3. That's why it's very important to run 3. So having the ability to send a Fallen of Albaz to the graveyard is very important, because you can go chainlink 1 Shiren, chainlink 2 Bestial Saronir, and then send the Bestial Luber, and then if you'll have enough names to make like a free Mirror Jade off the Shiren once you do the grass looks greener. It's pretty nice. Also, it's a dragon, so obviously it goes into the Protostar Dragon. I think it's called the Chaos Dragon in the TCG. And we'll talk about this card. This card's incredible right now. It can be made off of Cartesia. It can be made off of Branded in Red, and we'll go into it right now. It is one dark. It's a level 8 light dragon, which is very important because we're running the Light and Darkness Dragon Lord, of course, and it's 2500 and requires 1 light or dark dragon monster plus 1 dragon monster, so it's quite generic. If this card is fusion summon, you can target cards your opponent controls up to the number of light and dark monsters used as fusion material, destroy it. So basically, this card basically is a pop 1 to 2 most of the time that you can make off of either Cartesia, like I said, at any point, or the Branded in Red, which is really incredible to have because it's really good to have spot removal, like finally Cartesia's spot removal, which was a thing that we did not have before having Proto Star. So I think that everyone should be running this, even if you're running a meager count. I mean, if you're running a bunch of, like, if you're running 3 Shrouded Dragon, you should probably be running this card because it's just like super easy to make, and then it's also super convenient because you can make boards. It helps you go into Light and Darkness Dragon Lord, which is like the incredible part. Like, you guys are going to see a replay I'm going to show you guys either at the end of this video or in a new video, where I basically just cook a Snake Eye board because I have this, and he basically hand trapped me, stopped me through Puppet, but I still made Protostar, and Protostar then got me into Light and Darkness Dragon Lord, because Protostar is a light level 8 dragon, which is hard to get out. Your only light level 8 dragons in the stack is Lubellion and Bestial Lubellion, so having another one is very important. This is very easy to make off of Cartesia, so Cartesia is just spot removal now. It also makes things like Brandon Red a lot better board breakers too, stuff like Brandon White as well. We're not running Brandon White in this build, but you can if you're running more Bestials, or if you choose to find the space, because now Brandon White's more of a board breaker, but we'll just leave it at that. 1 Puppet because it's the best fucking card in the stack. Like, this thing makes Brandon go around. It's very good, very good. And then TEARLAMENTS Shiren, like I said, we're running the grass build, so you need to run 1 tier name because it's really good. If you hit like 2 Albaz names, you can make a free Mirror Jade. And then also if you hit obviously just like a Cartesia, you can make a free Grand Guignol, or you could obviously just make a Despia and Quertus. We aren't running anything like Masquerade, but like we want to be making either Grand Guignol, like a Mirror Jade, or just like, obviously Lubellion can go into Borload Furious or wherever you want to end up making. So Shiren's very good as a board breaker for that reason, and as a 1 of, it doesn't really brick. It's very good to fuse off of Cartesia and just like have some like really explosive plays when you can do the Protostar plays on top of it. So yeah, no, it's very good. And then you have the mulcharmy fuwoloss. We're going to start looking at the non-engine board breaking package. So mulcharmy fuwoloss is a card off Raging Abyss that is basically max C2. You basically get to, if you control no cards, you can quick effect discard this card, so you can play around tactics, and then you can draw a card each time your opponent special summons a monster from the deck or extra deck. Kind of like max C lingering effect for the rest of the turn. So I think we need to run it. It's a winged beast, so it's a brand high spirits target, so you can just send our winged beast Rinbrum if you brick on it going first, but going second, going first, it's obviously a brick besides that. But because it's a high spirits target, it makes it automatically a lot more runnable than mulcharmy purrely in our main deck. So even if you draw it going first, it's kind of fine. Like, you aren't going to be bricking a lot of the time. You just want to see it going second because you're going to be going against these Youll and Fiendsmith Snake Eye boards that are just so packed with huge boards. I'll show you guys screenshots. It's just like crazy, just like because it's double Omni Negate, because we just had Youll making Desiree plus Verudris plus like Caesar, and now Snake Eye is basically making the Azamina fusion, which is an Omni Negate plus Desiree as well. So now Snake Eye has, you know, Omni Negates on Omni Negate, so that means you need 2 board breakers at most times, or just like a lot of engine. And mulcharmy fuwoloss basically says you are gonna end your turn if I mulcharmy you, and fuwoloss is a turn skip, flat out a turn skip if you see it going second. So I think it's worth running for that reason. It's very, very good. So I'm gonna be running in the main deck. You can side out going second. We are going first, and I'm gonna show you guys the siding patterns of this deck as well, so don't worry about that. We are running 3 Book of Eclipse. It's still the best board breaker in Branded because it is great going first and going second. Obviously going first, if I go Aluber Effect and they go chain Imperm, I can chain Book of Eclipse, and I'm still gonna get my search off of Aluber because Aluber will no longer be face up to be targeted by the Imperm. So it's also very good because it forces a 1-for-1 on Omni Negates, or else they have to chain something on Book of Eclipse. It's also great into IP because you can chain on IP Effect, force end to main, and then go Book of Eclipse on IP Effect, and they have to link off their links if anything. So it's very good. Also, evenly matched cooks in the same regard. So evenly matched basically will get rid of all these huge boards. I think evenly match is incredible this format. We are I'm considering also siding droplets as well. I think droplet is very good with evenly matched. I want to mention, guys, consider forbidden droplets in the combination of this. I just think that with mulcharmy fuwoloss, you can't run too many non-engine for board breakers. You obviously have the triple tactics thrust package, but guys, like, if you're running more board breakers, like 3 mulcharmy, 2 Book of Eclipse, 3 Book of Eclipse plus 2 evenly, like 3 evenly would have been too much on this. I've done the testing, so 2 is just fine. We're going to draw off of it, or we can go into triple tactics thrust. We would just want to see any 2 board breakers going second. So I think that evenly Book of Eclipse are the best board breakers right now. I would love to be running droplet evenly, honestly, because droplet evenly literally cooks every board, but Book of Eclipse is just way too good going first, whereas Eclipse or Droplet and like Dark Ruler really aren't. So that's why we're still running Eclipse. Like I said, consider the Droplet in the side deck probably. Alright, so now we have the rest of the deck. We have 3 Allure of Darkness. We gotta be drawing into our board breakers. Mulcharmy Fuwoloss is there for a reason. I could see myself maybe cutting the Allures because of Mulcharmy, but I think Allure is way too important. It's like one of the best cards in the deck. Whenever I see this card going second, I feel like I'm just chilling because it just means that my top deck plus Allure is going to get me 3 draws. I usually see Albion. They're never negating that, so that's 4 draws through my deck. If I see Mulcharmy, that's like another 4 draws. So I'm seeing basically the kind of hand sculpting my hand however I need to break every board. Obviously, we are running the 1 Grass Looks Greener. That is one of the best cards with Branded Fusion win to 1, but we got Grass Looks Greener, which is just as good as Branded Fusion, if not better, because if you go Grass, you usually get access to Branded Fusion plus more, because you'll be able to mill a Sarni or a Shrouded Dragon, which gets you Branded Fusion, but you also have things like a Stellar, Tragedy, Shiren, Bestial Luber, Gimmick Puppet, which you don't have to send off of Grand Guignol if it's already milled. It's also great going second because you get to summon out Shiren, which is a free Mirror Jade, plus get advantage to get to Branded Fusion, so it makes it so it's an even better search off of triple tactics thrust for that reason. So I think that Grass Looks Greener is basically mandatory in 60 card builds, and I advocate it as the best build for Branded. If you look at all the regional tops over the last month or two, they've all been 50 to 60 Grass Looks Greener builds, so you just got to run it. And then Called by the Grave, just you have to run it. Speaking of cards, because of Mulcharmy, do we have to run Crossout? No, we don't have to run Crossout. I think Crossout would add way too many bricks. We can play under Mulcharmy very well. That's why I think Branded is incredible into this new format, and why you guys should be playing Branded this format, because Branded has been great in Master Duel for a huge reason, and why it's been so hit in the OCG, because of the fact that it's amazing to max seed. We are able to just go Branded Fusion, make a board, basically just give them 1 draw, and have a lot of other ways to set up our board to play on our opponent's turn. You know, we play in the main phase 3 or on our opponent's turn a lot of the time, so I think that Branded is amazing into Mulcharmy. So our deck is going to be an amazing meta call, I think, this meta, even with the 1 Branded Fusion. So 1 Foolish, 1 Gold Star, just consistency pieces, great 1-card starters. I hope Gold Star comes back to 3 next format. And then thinking of 1-card starters, I mean, Dragon Ravine basically combos with any card in the deck. It basically gets you like pitch Shrouded, pitch Sarnier, pitch like Retribution, and you basically get to anything that you need. This is a really easy side down. This could also just be like any other card. It's like the 60th card. It's a really weak card, but it's like a good extender. It's like a really solid going first card. I can't really think of any other card that really fits the bill, so yeah. And then triple tactics talents and triple tactics thrust, you need to run it because you have the fusion duplication package. It's basically to play around Ash Blossom, but it's also just like amazing package for going second. You get to search out grass looks greener, evenly matched, triple tactics talents, whatever you want, or even the fusion. But I rarely ever search out the fusion. It's usually grass, because grass will get me to fusion. So also I can just search out fusion off my branded cards. 3 fusion deployment, you have to run it, it's just broken card. And then obviously 1 duplication is just fine also, but 1 branded fusion, rest in peace, but it's just fine at 1. All the combos are still the same. And remember, like I said, make sure to leave a like down below if you guys want to see the Post ROTA combo guide. 3 Brandon High Spirits, obviously, because this card is incredible with all the dragons. Also, it's great with mulcharmy fuwoloss because it's a winged beast. At least it gets you into your combo to a Brandon fusion. It's not the best, but your Rinbrum in graveyard isn't bad, and also makes a brick, filters out the brick. And obviously, this is easily sided out going first, or going second, or going first rather. So games 2 and 3. 2 Branded in red. We were running Branded in white in here, but I think 2 Branded red tested a lot better. So 2 Branded in red. Brand white's just not good enough going sometimes. It's just like you have to have way more dark dragons, and I had to cut it down to kind of like fit with the Furo. So I think brand white's just 2 Branded red is just fine. You use 1 on your turn, you use 1 on your opponent's turn to extend really heavily. It's just great. It's a board breaker too with Protostar, and then obviously the 1 Guardian Chimera, which is honestly debatable on even cutting this at this point for a second Mirror Jade, but we'll talk about that when we get there. 1 Branded Loss, 3 Opening, and 1 Retribution. Alright, now the extra deck, we are running 1 Albalinatus because we're still going to see Tenpai. It's also Centurion's going to be great, so I think you need the 1 of Albalinatus. You could also just side it out going first for other things like Garura when you side in the Nidir package, so that's kind of the side pattern right there. You run 2 Albion because it's a very good, you kind of have to run it, and then 1 Lubellion, the Searing Dragon, you have to run it, and then 1 Mirror Jade. I think I would like to be running 2, so we might be able to cut the Guardian Chimera for it, but I think for right now, for just like right now, it's just fine. But if you go to a YCS, I'd probably say just 2 Mirror Jade over the Guardian Chimera, because we are running the Protostar Dragon, which is basically Guardian Chimera, but easier to summon. And then we do have the 1 Sanctifier, you gotta run it, it's a broken card. And then we have 2 Grand Guignol. 2 Grand Guignol is still very standard right now because of the fact that it gives you your puppet lines very well. It also helps Cartesia out, just you're running at 3, so you just have to run it. It's great for the grind game too, so it's just worth it. 1 Despia and Quertus. It's really important to run this so you can summon off a Grand Guignol and trigger the Quem on your opponent's turn whenever your opponent's like extending. And then also it's just decent just in the grind game. And then 1 Borreload Furious Dragon. It's so broken, it's just mini Mirror Jade essentially, so very important to have this, especially with 1 Mirror Jade, and then 1 Guardian Chimera, 1 Protostar, and then 1 Lad. Guardian Chimera is kind of on its last legs here in Branded. I mean, it's very good, but like I think Protostar is just like way more generic in this deck. Guardian Chimera can only be made off of Brandon Red, whereas this can be made off of Cartesia, and that's a huge thing. But this is still great to have, I think. For the crackback, we are running 2 Brandon Red, so I think having 2 is very important. But a lot of the time, you're just making Protostar into Light and Darkness Dragon Lord, so this thing could definitely be cut at some point, because what you do is you go Protostar Dragon off of red, and then you Cartesia into Light and Darkness Dragon Lord with the Protostar, and then you search off Albion the Shrouded Dragon. I'll show you guys the combo, but in the Roto guide. And then 1 Light and Darkness Dragon Lord. You need to run this. Nightfall has this combo. We'll show off also. We've shown off Borreload combos, but you basically end on Borreload or Rinbrum on top of the and then you make Light and Darkness Dragon Lord, so you have like 4 negates against Tenpai under Shifter, which is very good. And then obviously the Rinbrum that you have to run. It's so goated on top of the mulcharmy just being a high spirits target with it, and then 1 Titan Clad. You gotta run it. And then for the side deck, it's very it's spicy, I think, but it works out. 1 Magma because it's just great going second, and then 3 Mulcharmy Purrely, and then 3 Magical Spring. Magical Spring still tests very well into Fire King, Yubel, and Snake Eye, and this is a usually draw 3 to 4 anyways, so like this will always be ashed, or it will win you the game if it resolves. And then Purrely is still great against things like Yubel, and then other rogue matchups, so I think having it is very important for drawing into all your board breakers. So then we have 3 Dark Ruler No Mores because we want to be able to search or see them off of Purrely, and then also the Magical Spring, and then the just all the draw effects. Having the Dark Rulers, the Evenlies, and then obviously the Book of Eclipses in our deck means that we're always going to be breaking boards going second, so I have no worries going against Azamina or youll with this deck going second, especially with how strong Branded is at breaking boards. And then going first, we have 3 Nadir Servants and 2 Fusion Duplications, so these are great for playing under fuwoloss. Nadir Servant is just a 1-card combo to full combo under fuwoloss. You don't even have to give your opponent any draws, it's really broken. And then 2 Fusion Duplications just because it's a branded fusion on your opponent's turn. So yeah, guys, this is my Post ROTA Branded list. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys want to see the combo video, we will have an updated deck profile with all the cards in person. I know I don't love DB deck profiles, but I want to show you guys what I've been having very much success with testing and just very early ROTA gameplay. So also the siding patterns, you side out 3 fuwoloss, 2 evenly, and then you side in 3 Nadir Servant, 2 Fusion Duplication going first, and then going second you can side out basically your going first cards. So you side out 2 High Spirits, a Dragon's Ravine of Branded Opening, a Branded in red, and then you could also side out 1 Stellar, 1 Cartesia, maybe even the kit, and then maybe even the fusion or the foolish burial, and that will give you enough slots to side in like things like Purrely, Magical Spring, Dark Ruler No More going second on top of Magnamut, Bestial Luber also. So yeah, guys, see you guys later.